this video, we will see how to find the refractive index of a glass prism. The material we will use are, you can take a cardboard sheet, thermocol or whatever you prefer, a white sheet of paper, an equilateral glass prism. The angle of prism is this angle. All the angles should be 60 degree, and that makes an equilateral glass prism. I have got one of the size 38 mm in the market. You can get of various sizes. Next, we will be using a scale, protector, some pins, and pen and pencil with whatever you prefer. Next, now first of all, fix the paper through some pins on the material so that don't get disturbed while doing the experiment. Then take a scale and draw a line about 6 to 7 centimeters of length. Next, take a point nearly at the center of the line. At this point, keep the protector at this point, and at this point make two angles, one of 90 degree. Sorry, you have to make two lines, one of 90 degree and an angle of 30 degree. The line at 90 degree, at this line, let us say this line M, the refractive line, should be dotted or dashed. Place the prism on the line such that one of the surfaces of the prism should coincide with the line M. It should be in the line with line M and should coincide as well. Then yes. Now what you have to do next is put the pins on the line which makes 30 degree with the normal. The pins should be straight. They should not be slanted, tilted or whatever you say. Then place the prism and draw its outline. And use scale also after drawing it. Now what you have to do is you have to see through this side of prism and put two pins in such a way that all the four pins are in line, so that when you look through that line at some point, then only one pin should be visible. Now this takes a bit of time, so I will pause the video for the time being and meet again. So now I have placed the pins in order. So when I look through this pin, only one pin is visible to me. An important thing you should remember is, after placing the pins, you should encircle them or have a mark near them, so that, because when you are placing the pins through trials and errors, you might get many of the marks, for example like this, so you might get confused while drawing the line, which we have to do now. Now carefully remove the prism, also remove the pins, and through these 2 points draw a line. It should be a dotted one or a dashed one, but not a continuous one. Now also you have to make this line. Also you have to produce this line so that they both meet at a point. Now measure this angle. Let us say D. This is the angle of deviation. It states that by how much degrees the ray has deviated. What I mean to say is, if the glass prism would not have placed here, then this ray of light coming from here would have gone straight. But instead of going straight, because of the refraction by the glass prism, this ray turned out and went here. Now we have to measure the angle of deviation, by how much degrees the ray has deviated. In this case, it is coming around 48 degrees. So in this case, it is coming around 48 degrees. Now what you need to do is take 6 similarity readings. You have to change angle of incidence each time. This is I angle of incidence, in this case 30 degree. You have to make a table. First you have to write angle of incidence and angle of deviation. Let us say D and I. But you also have to mention the angle of prism somewhere in your experiment. Angle of prism. Since we are doing equilateral, using equilateral prism, so angle of prism is obviously 60 degree. Now angle of incidence, in this case we have found for 30 degree, and angle of deviation is around 48 degree. Now you also have to find for some other angles like 35 degree, 40 degree, 45 degree, 50 degree and 55 degree. You will get 6 different angle of deviation. Then you need to plot a graph. On the y-axis you have to take angle of deviation, and on the x-axis take angle of incidence. You must get a graph. You must get a graph somewhat like U-shape. Now through this you can measure the angle of minimum deviation. Now you will be having two things, that is you will using two things: angle of prism A, that is this is A, and angle of deviation D. Refractive index of glass prism is equal to sine angle of prism plus angle of deviation minimum and by sine angle of prism by 2. This formula will give you the refractive index of the glass prism. Thanks for watching this video.